When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the vehicle owner's manual for important feature limitations and information.
Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us today as we take a bit of a deep dive into the New Balance Greater Manchester Cricket League. Joining myself and Hugh from Heaton Cricket Club today is skipper and, according to Play Cricket, longest serving player with 168 games there, Ollie Sutcliffe. How are we doing, Ollie?
Yeah, all good, guys.
Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Hey, listen, let's get straight to it and ask the big question for Heaton Cricket Club in your league. You got promoted to the Premier League in 22. 23 was your first year, therefore back in the top echelons. You must be extremely happy finishing third.
No, 100%. It was a really good season for us, and to be honest, we got off to a bad start as well. We lost our first 2 games, so I think that was massive for us. We were hoping for a good start, didn't get it, but then to bounce back, I think we won 7 on the bounce after that, and basically got to challenge for the title right till the end of the season. Really, yeah, it was a massive positive for us.
It was, and any club coming into that division, I mean, some bloody good clubs and some strong teams up there, some great pros. You know, what do you think was the key to Heaton's success there?
I think we managed to keep reasonably the same core players in the team throughout the last 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. We were all familiar with each other's games. We all know the roles we play as well in that. And we've got a lot of variety with the bowling. That's always been one of our strengths. You know, we've got from, fast opening bowler, right arm, fast opening bowler, left arm spinner, right arm off spinner. We've sort of got it all from a bowling perspective, which has always massively helped us.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that sounds good. And we'll come to next year because that sounds really promising, looking forward. But let's have a quick look at how the league finished then. So Roe Green won the title. It did go down to the last couple of weeks and they won the league and beat Edgeworth. You guys came third and Shaw came fourth. Down at the bottom, Prestwich and Hayside came 10th and 11th. And a little bit further down there, Denton St. Lawrence came in 12th place and obviously relegated there. In terms of in competitiveness, Hugh, how do you find this league?
Well, I think it's at the top there. It seems very close. I mean, just looking at Heaton, I mean, it looks like you guys, the abandonments cost you. Yeah. I don't know what the points breakdown, the points are different in all leagues, but you unfortunately looked like you had 5 abandoned as opposed to Roe Green at the top with 3. So You've got the top 4 clubs, well, certainly the top 3 clubs really, and that potentially was the difference rather than matches won, lost. All the top 3 lost 4 or 5 and won similar amounts, and it's just those abandonments. Maybe abandonments happening at the wrong time, that kind of thing. Down the bottom, bit of a gap. Yeah, you've got a bit of a breakaway, but certainly middle and upwards, it looked like a league where everybody could beat anyone else.
Yeah, I think we're definitely one of the wettest leagues as well. 100%.
I was going to ask that. In terms of the weather, did you suffer in that July period in particular?
Yeah, it was first half of the season we didn't miss a game, and then we just lost all those 5 abandoned all in the second half of the season. Yeah, it's especially rainy. Bolton, Saddleworth, we get a lot of rain. I mean, our ground's called Lower Pools, so you sort of glean how it is from the name there.
Absolutely. And I think for you guys in particular, as you say, you lost the first 2, you then went on a bit of a run. You then got to that middle of the season, the weather all came and, didn't work in your favour, did it?
Yeah, I mean, Edgeworth was a prime example. We had them on the ropes. We needed to literally bowl 3 overs to beat them. We ended up bowling 17 and then it got rained off. So we would have won that game easily as well. But, we literally needed to get 3 more overs in and didn't manage it.
Edgeworth, that would be a big win against them then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was the first game in the second half of the season, so it would have been a big win for us.
Hey, the league will come to have a look around the surprises that the clubs and players, but let's just get straight into the batters and bowlers. So let's have a look at the batters, Hugh, and who stood out along the Greater Manchester League there.
Well, mine are bone to pick. They finally updated their stats, so my stats, I think, are correct.
You were going to get that in at some point, weren't you?
I'm going to get it in straight away. There's a big caveat with these. So the Great Manchester Cricket League is on Cricket HQ, and then sort of retrospectively update their play cricket stats. So any errors
are not yours.
All the responsibility of the powers that be, and I shift no blame to my systems and myself. That's disclaimer out of the way. We're looking at Kevin Dalmeida, 830 runs at the top at about an average of 46. So we don't have Eggton, and then Heaton's own Talaksha Malshan, is he Sri Lankan?
Yeah.
826 runs at 55, and then Darren Cruikshank at Shaw. Is he South African? Is that right? South African. 697 runs at 49, but a strike rate of 126. So those are the top three. And then Mohammed Moshin, who I don't think managed to play as many games as anyone else, 614 runs at 66 and a strike rate 110 nearly. So he could have done with playing a few more games for Woodbank. I think he looked like a particularly destructive player. Yeah,
most definitely. Who stands out in that top 3 or 4 for you there, Ollie?
I think for me, obviously, Tilly's in our team. He finished second in that runs top. I think he had 2 less innings as well.
Yeah.
But he had a phenomenal season for us. He really did carry us in some games. And I think we would have been nowhere near where we were, from a position-wise in the table without him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, from a selfish point of view, Tilly definitely stands out. We needed him this year. He came back from an injury last year as well. So, it was a big year for him, and he performed really strongly. And I think, Darren Cruikshank from Shaw as well. He's a really destructive player. I think you mentioned his strike rate there, but he's very much, he goes from ball one. We've played him before, and first ball's over your head for 6. So he can be a really, really destructive player. So I'd say those are the really outcomes.
Trinidad, I've just looked him up. He's Trinidad, so there you go. He's not South African. Terrific player.
And has that been a bit of a change you've seen over the last 12, 18 months in the league, not just with Darren, but other players going at it more? It's been a bit of a theme when we've spoken to other leagues as well, Ollie.
Yeah, I think it pulls through what we're seeing in the international game as well, doesn't it? People being more aggressive, and it's eventually going to sort of trickle down to us at our level as well. And I think we are starting to see that. And that going earlier as well, for first 10, 15 overs, definitely something we've seen.
And I think with the weather, in particular around Greater Manchester and the Bolton area, you probably were better going early rather than late as well, weren't you? Just getting on with it.
Yeah, and the grounds are smaller as well. If you compare us to Liverpool comp, our grounds are a hell of a lot smaller. You can hit a 40, 50 metre 6 on some grounds, so there's a benefit there as well.
It is. I'm well aware of the grounds around that area in particular. I mean, my old club many years ago, Adlington, is actually one of the bigger grounds, ironically.
Yeah.
And even that's not that big compared to, as you say, some of the Liverpool comp guys. When you come to your place has probably only got a 50, 60 metre boundary, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So, it's a really small ground relative to what you'd see elsewhere.
Just on the batters there, it's I think dominated there by overseas pros. Is that something that's always been the case in this? Is this similar to the Lancashire League, where a real strong overseas pro presence, compared to maybe some of the other leagues we look at where they don't have so many pros coming in?
Yeah, I think it's always sort of been the case. I mean, we're still relatively new as a GMCL, but when we were playing in the Bolton League, like you say, Lancashire League, there it is a common theme when you generally do have top pros. Yeah, stand out probably from the rest.
Yeah, it's what, 7 years old now, the league, since 2016. And it sounds like a new league, and it looks, even the website looks bright and buzzing, the full works. But there's a lot of history behind these clubs, isn't there?
Exactly.
Were you Bolton Association or Bolton League, but beforehand, Ollie?
We were Bolton League, yeah. We were Bolton League back in the day. So back in the day, 2018.
Yeah, and if you look back now, you're a veteran at 28, as you said to me earlier. If you look back now, do you see the benefits of what's happened in bringing the GMCL together?
Yeah, and I think you're starting to see it more and more now. We've had clubs that joined last year, the likes of Horwich and West Orton. Obviously, 2 of those clubs coming into the Premier League next year. I'm starting to see, with the additions that we've had, consistently over the last 7 years, the league's got stronger and stronger each year. And I think next year probably will be the most competitive it's ever been. And I think we're starting to get a little bit more settled in terms of the structure, in terms of the clubs at the top.
Most definitely. Hey, let's have a look at the bowlers then, Hugh. Who's been the highlights there?
Well, it's Adnan Gauss. He stood out all season. Once they updated the stats, but he's always been up there consistently. Finished with 66 wickets, which I think was second in the country in terms of wickets taken, and certainly top for a quick. So he's been terrific all season long. 21 games, 66 wickets at 10, bowling economy of 3.12. So terrific performance then. And then Andy Hoff was second there, 52 wickets at 10.6, similar economy. And Jamal Warrican, left arm spinner from the West Indies, I think 46 wickets at 9. So, those are the top three. But I mean, Adnan really, a long way ahead there, and obviously a long way ahead of virtually everyone in the country.
Yeah, I mean, what's the difference there with Adnan in that league, Ollie, for you? Because most of the leagues we've looked at so far, spinners have been right at the top echelons, and Adnan stands out there.
I think sort of going back to what we mentioned before a little bit, in terms of the weather, generally wetter, pitches are greener. He's a bowler that can bowl extremely fast, and he's about 6'6", 6'7". You're playing on a green seamer, he's going to be a handful. Yeah, he's a massive standout this year, 100%.
I've got to ask the question, did he get you out this year?
He got me out this year, yeah.
Yeah, I can see the PTSD on your face right now.
Yeah.
Was that a wet day or a dry day, though?
That was the game that got rained off.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Again, a wet day.
Yeah, no wonder there's PTSD on that one, without a shadow then. Have you found that the league has been more for those fast bowlers more and more, or is it still a bit of very heavy spinning area, hasn't it? What's been happening over the past few years?
I think you don't win the league unless you've got a quality spinner as well. I think Roe Green with Andy Hoff there, you mentioned him before, but Roe Green have got 3 really quality left-arm spinners.
Wow.
And if you've got 3 good left-arm spinners in your team, you're going to finish up there.
Is the word greedy come to mind there? I mean, 3 of them.
Exactly, yeah. I think it is a little bit greedy, 100%.
It is, and it's wherever we've looked around the leagues around the country, literally from as far north as you get all the way down to as far south, that left-arm spinner again, Hugh, makes all the difference, doesn't it?
Well, it seems to be, and having 3, you'd think they're going to struggle to keep hold of all 3. I mean, they are the number one commodity in Premier League cricket, I would say. We had the teams in the Liverpool comp building their sides around that, bringing that overseas pro in left arm spin and building their teams around that. So it's certainly a commodity. So to have 3 and to flaunt them in front of the rest of the league, is a temptation for anyone else to get the checkbook out, I suppose. It
is without a shadow, definitely. Tell us, during the season, there must have been some surprises for you. Being back in the Premier League yourself, Ollie. Was there any clubs that surprised your players in particular that we might not have mentioned that you saw that they're really interested to keep an eye out in the future?
I think sort of standout performance for me, one that you didn't mention, there's a guy who plays for Denton West. He bats 8, he's called Liam Kilburn. He hits a ball like I've never seen anyone hit a ball before. He played Edgeworth the week before he played us. He won the game for them. I think he got 100 off 40 odd balls, batting at 8, and he came in at 9 against us the week after. I think we had them 70 for 8, and he hit 96 in about 40 balls again. And honestly, I've not seen hitting like it. Didn't matter where you bowl it, short, full, it went for 6 over your head.
He's in my notes here, actually, my preparation notes. Liam Kilburn, Denton West, 407 runs at 31, strike rate of 180, which is the highest in the country with 5 innings or more. So, yeah, I mean, he's not just good in your league, he's good nationally. I think he generally batted 7, but like I say, down the order a few times. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic performance. I mean, to average 31 striking at 180, I mean, that's just T20 numbers, and any T20 team is going to snap him up. If you were producing those numbers, your IPL numbers, aren't they?
Yeah, I think those numbers came down as well as the season went on. I think after that game I mentioned, I think it was strike rate of 240 and he was averaging 60.
Yeah, I think he got a low score, certainly in the last game. I think he got a low score.
Will they keep him though for next season?
I think so. I think he's a local lad, so yeah, I can't see him moving. But yeah, it was unusual because you get a team 7 or 8 down, you think we're going to get through them. You don't expect to get hit for another 120 runs in 10 overs.
I don't know much about him. Is he? I'm looking at Lancashire under 19. Is that? No, maybe not. Has he had any rep honours at all?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Not sure.
Be worth. I mean, that's the kind of player that the NCCA team T20 sides would be loving. If they could pick somebody like him up, especially if he's not in the Lancashire setup. As one of their sort of three overseas or whatever.
Outsiders, I think.
Is that what they're called? That's the official term.
Outsiders, definitely. Well, in terms of the clubs who are going down, and obviously the clubs are coming up, was there any surprises for you there, Ollie?
I think, Prestwich is the obvious one, I think. They've been so dominant in the league over the last 3 or 4 years. They've won it multiple times. I think that was a real shock. And, and they won the cup as well. They beat Roe Green in the final. So I think that was the biggest surprise, I think, in the whole league. I think everyone would agree with that one.
And in terms of the clubs that are coming up, who are you looking forward to having to go up against next year?
I think, Bradshaw and West Horton, they've come from the Bolton League as well.
Yeah.
So, we've got history with those guys.
Yeah.
West Horton, we've not played them for a long time, since we were back in the Bolton League. We obviously played Bradshaw the year before. We had a great rivalry against them as well. So, like I said, I think next year will be a real challenge. There's some really good clubs that have come up from that Prem too.
Don't worry, it's 32 years since I played against West Horton, so that's actually longer than you've been on this earth, remember? So there's a hell of a lot. Would you think Horwich and I were disappointed not to come up? Because that would have been the big one to come up for you guys, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think they'd be disappointed. But again, I think it just goes back to how competitive that league was below us last year. They had, like you say, West Horton, Bradshaw and Horwich that could have all gone up. It was just vying for that third space. Flixton started really well. They've got a really strong side. So I think that league was always going to be really competitive, and there was always going to be someone that was disappointed to miss out.
Definitely. It's the equivalent of the Championship in football, isn't it? The easiest league to fall into and the hardest league to get out of without a shadow. Tell us about the overseas players in the league, Hugh. Is there anyone in particular stood out for you and Ollie?
Well, it's hard for me to pluck the overseas out just from the stats. So, but there does seem
Ollie can do it for us.
Yeah, so if Ollie's probably the better one to name the overseas jumping out from the ones he's played against.
I mean, just using, I think you mentioned him before, but Jamal Warrickham. So the week before we played, I think a couple of weeks when we played them, before that he literally bowled Rohit Sharma in a Test match in the West Indies.
Wow.
So I think he got three for 90 against India in the West Indies. Flew back, and then we were playing against him 2 weeks later. So, that goes to show the sort of standard that, that's out there. And that's probably a standout for us. You're sort of thinking, wow, he bowled Rohit Sharma a couple of weeks ago, and now I'm playing against him. I've not trained for 2 weeks because of the rain.
Brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, he's had a nice little holiday out in the West Indies, playing a bit of cricket and bowling a Rohit Sharma. Fair comment. Yeah, if you can do it, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fly back for a game against Heaton.
I'm not going to say anything about that because I've got friends up there, obviously, as well. So, is there anyone who's emerging in terms of the overseas guys that you're seeing, thinking, I've got to watch them? They're coming back next year.
Sort of new. I mean, again, you mentioned Kevin, who Edgerton. I think he was a standout performer, really. Probably got off to a bit of a slow start as well, but made up for it. He performed really, really well. I think a big watch out for us is our pro next year. We've got him back. So it was Anjuli got selected for Sri Lanka.
Wow.
So we weren't able to get him for last year, but he's coming back this year, and he was a game changer for us when he was with us. So I think having him back will be really, really good for us next year.
What about the all-rounders then, Hugh, in this league?
So at Heaton, we've got the Daluga. I've got Amal and Aveen. Yeah. Is that a family affair there? Is that father and son?
It is, yeah. Yeah, Aveen.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. Because I looked up Amal, and I think he played in Sri Lanka, and then obviously there was a younger named version. So it's lovely to see father and son doing so well. But they popped up on my wickets charts, both of them leading the league in wickets taken in a match with 7. So Amal with 7 for 24 against Prestwich, and Aveen 7 for 26 against Denton. Yeah, a bit of a rivalry there.
Amal again, the left arm spinner.
Yeah, what's Aveen do?
He's a right arm. He's an offie, right arm off.
Right. So
fantastic.
He's only 14 as well.
He's 14.
He's 14. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's one to watch then.
Okay, Hugh, should we add? Yeah, we'll add that to the one to watch list, shall we, Hugh?
Absolutely, fantastic. Well, that's brilliant.
So you literally can have his left arm spinner father at one end and the 14-year-old right arm offie at the other.
Fantastic. Oh, so just onto the all-rounders then. So Darren Cruikshanks topped the all-rounders list, 697 runs at 42 wickets at 17. And then Adnan, he's in the all-rounders, but runs and wickets sort of counts. Yeah. So I think just because he purely got so many wickets, he pops up there, 115 runs at 11. And then Mohammed Mushin, 668 runs and 34 wickets. It seems to me that the batters also bowled. There's been the overseas really doing well in this league in all areas.
Most definitely. And is that a key for you when it comes to looking at the squad for next year, Ollie? All-rounders and people who can do more than one job?
I think so, definitely. Especially when you're looking at overseas as well. I think it helps massively strengthen your team if they can do both. Like you say, especially if they're a spinner, you can get 15 overs out of them and they bat 4. It's a luxury.
Yeah, you want to get your money's worth, don't you, with these overseas guys, without a shadow. Definitely, and it's something that we've always been very keen on around the country to see, who's going after who And it's interesting watching some of the transfers coming through right now. And I think you've already pointed it out. One of the things I've found really interesting is the amount of clubs who wanted to re-sign their pro as soon as possible, because then you're sorted then. You haven't got to worry for the winter.
Yeah, no, it's the security as well, isn't it? You sort of want to get that sorted, penciled in. Don't have to be sort of scrambling around in March.
There's always a rumour mill of who is scrabbling around in February and March, isn't there? Without a shadow. Definitely. Hey, tell us, in terms of during the season, was there anything? We have to ask the question, the obvious one. Was there anything that stood out for you in terms of, oh bloody hell, that was funny? Anything that happened off the pitch, which we're not allowed to talk about half the time? But is there anything around Heaton in particular that you can remember that was like, that was a day?
I mean, there's a couple that spring to mind, but it's sort of the usual shenanigans. I think a couple.
You are allowed to throw people under the bus.
Yeah, well, we've got a lad in our team, Sam Olaloumi. He's sort of, I call him a utility player. I think he's a specialist fielder. Just loves fielding. But there's been a couple times during the year where we've had to knock on his door. He only lives up the road, so about 10 minutes before the start, he's answered the door in his boxer shorts, looking all surprised, like the game's starting in 10 minutes. What are you doing? So I think, and I go back to, there's a great book called Herding Cats by Charlie Campbell about amateur cricket captaincy. Don't know if you've read it, but I think that very much sums the job up from an amateur cricket perspective. Sometimes it is like herding cats, getting people there on time and scrambling around last minute for players when someone's dropping out on a Friday. It is hard work.
Well, I've got his stats here: 5 innings, 1 run, strike rate of 9, average of 0.25. So, I mean, that is specialist fielder material right there.
Hang on, what was his high score?
1.
I think he got 4 ducks, but he keeps telling me he can bat. So
he's still being picked.
Well, that's it. I mean, you're the ones picking him. Yeah, but I think club cricket is fueled by people like him. So absolutely good on him.
He actually took the best catch this season that I've ever seen as well in the T20 against Bradshaw. Literally full length on the boundary. It was unbelievable catch. Match-winning catch as well. So.
And did he stand there and show you his boxer shorts afterwards and say, there you go, I can do that?
I think he would have done, yeah.
Every club's got one. There's absolutely no question. Every single club's got one. They are the lifeblood of recreational cricket, but at the same time, we all need them. These players don't grow on trees, do they?
No. You just want to keep people in the game full stop.
Absolutely. Hey, tell us, looking forward to next season, Ollie, I mean, squad-wise, are you reasonably comfortable with what you've got at Heaton, or are you looking to make some acquisitions without naming names?
I think, we will potentially look at adding where we can. I think if you look at the stats last year, we're probably a little bit short of the batting. We're very reliant on Tilly. Mm-hmm. I think we'd want to be in a position next year when we weren't as reliant on him, whether that's me getting more runs or Joe Ball, for example. But I think, like I talked about before, the addition of Anjula as pro coming back for us, who we had a couple of years ago, I think that'll be a massive addition. He's a quick opening bowler and he just smashes it around the park as well. So I think having him back will be massively valuable for the balance of the side as well.
In terms of your own sort of prospects as a club, you came third on this return to the Premier League. You must be looking at getting to the very top, or at least a cup win.
Yeah, I think we'll have a run in the Lancs knockout as well this year. I think that'll be a good challenge for us. I can't remember the last time. I don't think I've ever played in that since I've been at Heaton. So it's been a long time we've sort of been in that competition before. So I think that'll be a really good challenge for us this year. So I look forward to that. But yeah, I think we'll just try and improve on what we've done this year. I think that's all we can do.
Well, you weren't far off.
Yeah, weren't far off. And like I said, I think the league will be more competitive this year. I've seen some of the signings on Twitter of some clubs. People look like they're strengthening. Hopefully we'll do the same. But like I said, it's going to be really close next year.
Leave it to the chairman in the deep pockets and see what they can get out of that social club, is what I say.
That's my captaincy style. Don't get involved with the sort of player transfer. But
yeah, I'm totally with you. Hey, thanks for talking about the Greater Manchester League, Ollie. It's been absolutely fantastic. And we'll keep in touch. Forward to catching up with you during the season, mate.
Sounds good. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Ollie.
All the best, Ollie. Thanks. Thanks for listening to the Premier League Cricket Show. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future episodes and stay updated on all the latest news, views and discussions from around the cricket's Premier Leagues. And be sure to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram at TPL Cricket Show on both. Join the conversation, share your thoughts and connect with us and your fellow Premier League cricket fans. And hey, if you enjoyed the show, why not show us some love? Leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast platform as it helps other potential listeners to find us when they're searching for cricketing podcasts. Thanks again for being part of the Premier League Cricket Show family, and until next time, have a good one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.